Marcus, Greek Hodl, how's your trades going?
Hola. Why
Good
everyone is
morning,
silent?
good afternoon. Sorry, go ahead.
Hello, guys.
How's it going? How's it going? Are you guys trades all right?
Yep.
Okay. Just
I'm trading on FTX, so everything is good.
everything's fine. There's no liquidity issues. 10 minutes later,
No.
oh wait, thank you, CZ.
By the way, I
Okay,
was just reading that FTX. Let me find it. Where the fuck is that? It filed bankruptcy also for FTX US. Remember that?
Oh, really?
How they were telling us that FTX US were all right?
Was a separate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Not true.
So basically what we've learned from the past week is whenever someone comes out and says, no, we're good, that's when the alarm bell should start ringing. And
Yeah, just give them 24 hours.
yeah, and they're not good.
Exactly. I'm watching that too, because also Prime Trust has also released like a statement or a little statement with the heading, and I'm paraphrasing here out of my head, but I believe they said something, what if Prime Trust becomes illiquid or goes bankrupt? Yeah. So that's a big red flag there as well. And
Yep.
So if you're not holding your keys in self-custody by now, I don't know what to tell you.
Correct. So first of all, let's give a little intro. Welcome everybody to Bitcoiner's Guide. This is the show that we wish we would have first had when we first started learning about Bitcoin. So we made it for you. We're your host, Big Sean Harris, Plan Marcus. We got the man, the myth, the legend, the Greek god, Greek Hodl, in the building today with us. And just a timestamp and price stamp. Today is Friday, November 11th, Veterans Day in the United States of America. It is 7:18 a.m. in Pacific time. I'm in LA right now, Pacific Bitcoin. That's why my voice is a little bit off. I've been losing my voice over the last couple of days. Too many parties and too much loud music, and you can't yell for like 4 hours straight in a conversation.
Were you yelling at your screen as the price was dropping?
Yeah. The current price is $16,900 and some change for Bitcoin. Depending on what your exchange is and what you're smash buying, it might be more because of Prime Trust. So, but no yelling at my screen, just yelling for normal conversations when the music is super loud. And I realize I sound old when I say that, but I don't care. So, so we have a lot of things that have happened this past week. A lot of, CZ is pulling some baller moves. Absolutely put some wreckage to FTX. Corey came out, with him and CoinDesk came together with this article about what's going on with FTX and just bringing to light what the truth is. What are you guys' takes on what's going down right now?
Before you guys jump into there, I just want to say I'm pretty excited to have Greek Hodl on today. And I always love that, especially on days like this, I'm always so happy we get to chat and talk Bitcoin over voice. It's fun to follow Twitter. It's always much better to just like level a little bit with like other Bitcoiners. And I remember my first voice call, I think one of the first voice calls with Yellow, and I believe Yellow invited me to some group where Greek was always in there. So Greek, to me, you probably don't know it, but you were one of the first Bitcoiners I ever spoke to in real life. So yeah, really. So happy to, I was super nervous that day. I remember that, man. It was really weird, but yeah, so glad to have you on, man. So welcome.
Cool.
So Louis, shall we
it's
just...
nice to be here, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
How
Thanks,
have you
thanks.
been looking at like what's been going on in the past couple of days? You open it up. What's your take right now? What's the mood? What are you thinking of? What's going on?
You know, I'm really calm watching all these things happening from the outside, because let's be honest, if you were listening to Bitcoiners and Bitcoin maximalists, now you would hold your coins on under self-custody, and this thing, besides the price, of course, is doesn't bothering you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
agree. It's the age-old tale of, you know, if you control your keys, then you control your coins. And once you give up control of those keys, then it's up to anyone else that they can do, you know, they have control over your money.
We've been like, this has become such a tired meme, right? I mean, endlessly, and still like pretty much every other week I would still post it, you know, like not your keys, not your cheese, or get your coins off exchanges. You know, you have that meme with the guy on the horse, and it's been repeated so often lately, and then still so many people are still holding their stuff on exchanges or on lending platforms, even worse. You know, it's yeah, I almost can you feel sorry for them still, or are you just like, good, this is people have to learn the hard way?
you know, after all these years, I don't think that that I can say that I feel sorry for them. Okay, for some maybe new people, okay, let's say that they didn't know or whatever, but for people that are here with us for years and years, and they just ignore us when we are warning them, like Marcus said, pretty much every day, I don't think that you can feel sorry about them. I may sound hard on this, but that's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah, it is the truth. And you have, like, it's interesting because you have to, you know, people will learn from pain. And
Yeah,
and it's a really interesting thing is that you learn sometimes the best lessons are when you lose, and when you get some pain, and then you understand, like, okay, you know, maybe that was dumb what I did, but at least, you know, I can learn from that and move on in the future, and understand why, you know, why these lessons are important to learn from history. Because, you know, if you're getting into Bitcoin and you're going to say, okay, I'm not going to trust the banks. The banks have FDIC insurance at minimum, but then you go in and you say, I'm going to trust these exchanges that say that they're going to lend out my Bitcoin for yield, or that say that, you know, you can get a loan on it, and then your Bitcoin's really locked up. You know, that's when it becomes pretty crazy, because banks have at least more history than these new exchanges, and they have FDIC insurance, which these exchanges have. They don't have the history. You know, a lot of these exchanges were made a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and they don't have any type of insurance. It's actually in the terms of service that they're allowed to halt withdrawals and pause withdrawals whenever it's convenient for them. So that's also interesting with what's going on.
yeah,
What's bothered me a lot as well is if you look at the voices in the space, you know, like 2 years ago, a year ago, you know, BlockFi, Celsius, they were, and FTX, you know, they were all being hyped up so bad by all these so-called Bitcoin maximalists. You know, if you talk about like a guy like Pompliano or Jason Williams, you know, even other bigger podcasters who are sponsored by these guys. And like FTX was frigging sponsoring Formula One, you know, you had like massive, famously baseball players and all kind of celebrities endorsing them. So
Oh yeah, FTX.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen like a company so new with so many sponsorships. Like they have the FTX Arena in Miami. Tom Brady was doing commercials. Steph Curry was doing commercials. Like every football game I watched, there was like an FTX logo on the field. The baseball umpires in the World Series and the playoffs were wearing FTX
And
logos.
they're building trust that way, you know.
Yeah.
They're using like trusted names, trusted brands to be like, look, it's okay. And I just shared this post where like Jason Williams is literally saying, yeah, I know, you know, not your keys, not your cheese. And then there comes like this big but we've got like all these great investors behind there. We've got basketball players, super cool new venture capitalists, and so. And I mean, they got wrecked too.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
Every
It's
single
crazy.
one of them.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Here's my question, right? So if you're
It's kind of sweet and sour though, right? Because on the one hand, you want to say like you feel vindicted, right? See, we were right, but at the same time, it's such carnage, man. It's like Jesus Christ.
it needs to have it needs to happen, and it's good because it helps continue to create this difference between Bitcoin and crypto, I think. But here's a question that I've been having for a while, actually. When does it become responsibility of the people who advertise? Like, say you're Tom Brady and you're advertising FTX, right? Do you get to say, oh, I didn't know that it was going to end up being a scam? Like when does it become responsibility of the athletes and the celebrities who advertise for a crypto platform that rug pulls and loses people a bunch of money? Does it ever become responsibility of, you know, of the Pomplianos, the Jason Williams, these type of people too, to like when they're advertising these type of companies to do their due diligence?
That's a really, really good question. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer to that.
I think it's a really good question as well. But I do have this sense of feeling right now that, you know, like while they were doing that, you know, first of all, it would trigger me. I'd be annoyed. You would say something about it, you know, and then they would often double down and be like, oh, you're just being a Bitcoin maxi and ridiculous. Can we do any sponsorship anymore? And it's normal investment practice and stuff, you know? So, and especially when they brush it off now, that really rubs me the wrong way. So I don't know if I was on the take, you know, to say like FTX sponsored us or whatever, we were shilling them, you know, at least at the very minimum, be like some sort of apology. You know, you can always say like, I really thought, you know, and that's credible, I guess, that you thought that they were okay and solvent and whatnot.
Yeah, because
but I hope people can at least reflect and maybe think about next time if they should be advocating so strongly for these kinds of services.
yeah, it's just interesting because like you can't look at every company. Like if you're an athlete, you're not even allowed to look at the balance sheets of these companies that you're advertising for. But there are certain patterns. Like if a company is Bitcoin only, obviously I would have a better idea. They're probably smarter, but you never know what that company is doing behind the scenes too. And I think that is what could be hard with knowing if a company is going to rug pull everybody or not. Like you never even know if a Bitcoin only company is doing some shady stuff behind the scenes. And so I think that's part of the issue with putting responsibility on the guys who advertise too.
It's so beautiful, right? Bitcoin was literally designed that you don't have to trust anybody.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the biggest advertisement for that, for just using Bitcoin straight up and simple, self-storage, run your own node, whatever, you know, don't trust anybody. And if you want to take on third-party risk, well, yeah, then it's on you.
And by design, it's a weapon to eliminate these situations, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it can weather those situations. Does this remind you guys of like, what happened with Mt. Gox, with what happened with you know, any other situation, or does this kind of feel totally different with, you know, with like this? Because Sam Bankman-Fried was kind of like some celebrity influencer in the crypto space. You know, CZ is coming in, and what's interesting is CoinDesk came out with the article saying that they're basically insolvent with that report from Corey, and then nothing really happened to FTX's price until CZ tweets. Like CZ didn't just come out and say, he didn't just come out and say, no, we're gonna sell our FTT. He tweets it and says, we're gonna sell our FTT, and then dumps it, right? Or waits a little bit till it starts going down, and then he probably dumped it. And that's really what triggered all of this. It was CZ's. I mean, it was Sam Bankman-Fried acting very risky with his funds and his money and doing shady stuff. But then CZ is what triggered it all.
But you know what? I can't blame CZ about that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, for example, if your wife is sitting on you and your neighbor comes and tells you about it, it is not your neighbor's fault, right? It's your wife. This is the same. This is what happened with CZ and Sam. CZ just warned everyone.
I completely agree.
That's a good analogy, yeah.
I can't blame CZ.
No, and just to say it straight, like Sam Bankman-Fried wasn't just some influencer, right? I mean, he was the CEO of like the biggest, I believe, US-based crypto exchange. Number 2 after Binance, because I believe Binance is the biggest. So they were competitors, first of all. So even less blame probably on CZ for trying.
Let me tell you something. I will be a little bit toxic right now. Look at Sam. Look at Sam. Can you trust your money with that guy?
Okay,
if you trusted your money to that guy, then it's all your fault.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same vibe. It's the same vibe as with Vitalik.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that.
Like people are still holding their money in Ethereum, but it's like exact same vibe, dude. And this has been going on for too long. But this is such a catastrophe waiting to happen. But yeah. You keep getting people screaming at you like, no, you toxic maximalist, you're all wrong. But it's just so obvious, you know?
Yes, yes. It's physiognomy. Just look at them. You can't trust them, man. You can't trust them.
It seems like these VCs know that they can make a bunch of money in the crypto space, and they're almost grooming guys like the Vitaliks. They're looking for guys, you know, like JP Morgan worked on that. Like a lot of people call Ethereum JP Morgan coin, you know? And it seems like a lot of these VCs might be grooming guys like Vitalik. And maybe this is just tinfoil hat time for me, but it's like, are they trying to groom these guys who look like geniuses, who are these genius nerds like Sam Bankman-Fried, Vitalik, Charles Hoskinson, you know? But in reality, they're just puppets, and they're not very smart, and they get in way over their head. Like I don't know if that's part of the plan of the VCs is to create these crypto coins, create these guys who they can put as the face of these things, and then just try to rip a bunch of money off of people before the rug pulls, and then they skate away clean while this guy takes the brunt of it. And I'm not saying that Sam Bankman-Fried isn't at fault, because he is, but I'm wondering if there's something bigger going on at play, because this keeps happening over and over again.
I don't think that these people are stupid or dumb, but definitely they're puppets.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I feel like I'm always becoming like fully conspiratorial over here. But I mean, there's a lot of chat. There's a lot of chatter, right? It's not. I'm just reading all this stuff, so I'm just keeping all scenarios open here. But apparently, Sam Bankman-Fried's his mother or his aunt is also working at MIT economics department, included, you know, as part of the WEF. And think about it, right? If the powers that be, so to speak, know they can't stop Bitcoin, because, you know, we all know why. but they can try to trash it as much as they can. One way is to smear it through the media. Another way, if you have a
they
money
are doing
printer,
it.
you can
They are
literally pump up the price and then trash the price back down and just make it, you know, like just keep kicking it as hard as you can in every way as you can. So it's not a completely unthinkable scenario that, you know, with investors like Sequoia Capital, like BlackRock, and all these kind of big players, you know, being investors in all these different projects to create something like this. It sounds very far-fetched, but
No,
who knows?
but it's happening, and we know it's happening, and we are witnessing it's happening. You know,
Yeah.
They are trying to excuse me, they're not trying. They are attacking Bitcoin right now. They are suppressing its price, which at this point it's irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
But everything that is happening right now, everything that's happening in during this bear market, it's showing to us that this is an attack to Bitcoin. I mean, okay, at the previous bear markets, similar things were happening, like Mt. Gox, for example. But at this bear market, there are too many of these
Right.
things happen. Like
There's so
it was
many.
Celsius. Yeah, now
Luna,
it's
Luna,
yes, it's Luna,
Celsius.
Voyager, and
Tether's peg is going down. Have you guys been watching?
BlockFi blew up.
BlockFi. Yes,
I mean, basically they build out. There were a bunch of smaller parties that were going bust, and FTX was bailing them out. You know?
but you know, also the greed drive all this, not only from the retailers and plebs and everything. Everyone in the space was over leveraged. Everyone was greedy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody wants to try and outperform Bitcoin. You know, it's like the whole shitcoin story too. Like, Bitcoin is probably not going to grow that fast anymore. So let me just try to gamble and speculate on what the dumb money is doing, the noobs that are coming in. I know it's a shitcoin, but let me buy some little shitcoin because all those noobs are going to buy it. And there's like so much capital destruction going on, and people have to learn to just stay the fuck humble and stop.
If you remember, when the last bull market started, Bitcoin started to pump incredibly, leaving behind everything else. And after happened what you were saying right now. Everyone was greedy. Everyone was trying to outperform newbies and, you know, competing each other and trying to buy shitcoins. Greed came, over leverage came, and now we have the results.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is that this happened also because of the big players. Big players over leverage their selves and their companies and everything. And now we are in a nice week with everything crashes. FTX is is bankrupt. Some net worth now is zero, and all that good stuff.
Where do you see it going from here, Greek?
Doesn't it seem healthy? It seems like
on the bright side, my stack now is bigger than it was yesterday.
It doesn't seem healthy for all this though? Like it's almost like
it had to happen. Yes.
It's like a reset button.
Yes. I agree. It had to happen. And thank God it's happening now. And I don't think that the blood is over.
It really shows how important it is if you like as a Bitcoiner, you need to be making sure that you just stay solvent, right? Like you're working, you're just allocating a little bit of Bitcoin at a time. And yeah, you might feel like, oh, I'm missing out on some random gains of some yield thing or whatever in the bull market. But when the bear market comes, and bear markets can come randomly, you know?
Yeah.
And
And
so
you know what?
you're safe from what we're trying to protect ourselves from in the first place with Bitcoin, which is trusting a third party, you know, and that's the whole point of Bitcoin, is you don't need to trust a third party. And I think that's like the whole, that's what Satoshi was creating, you know, the thing that he was solving for in the first place with Bitcoin. And crypto has kind of taken Bitcoin and it's tried to mold it into this fiat financial tool. And we're learning that that's not what its purpose is, you know, it's not its purpose at all. It's not what it's solving for. That was never an issue. The issue was getting rid of the trusted third parties in the first place.
Yeah. From my point of view, the most precious asset to me is my time. So I have to respect it. So I'm working every day. I'm making money. Banks and central banks and governments are fucking up with those money, and I have to save somehow my labor. Thank God we have Bitcoin. So I allocate a part of my time to Bitcoin. I keep it under self-custody. I never worry if an exchange is going insolvent or is going to bankrupt. I don't care, because I hold my keys. I hold everything under my self-custody. I know I am safe. This kind of situation in the market are opportunities,
Yeah,
to grow my stack, and I don't give a fuck, for real. And it's not only me. All Bitcoiners I know, they're in the same place as me. They have peace of mind. They have the opportunity to grow their stack now. We're all good. We were right, and we are going to be right. And if newcomers don't see that, you know, if you are smart, you're going to learn from someone else. But if you want to be a master, you have to take a lesson
and have
So-
self-discipline. I'm gonna be like honest, right? Like hodling, and I'm sounding like American Hodl here. You know how he always says hodling is not easy, because it really
no,
isn't.
it's
right?
not
Yeah,
easy. It's not
it
easy.
is, and it's not. You know, to stay like a Bitcoin maximalist. I don't want to sound religious or like that or anything, but it's really hard because you're there holding coins, right? And like in the past 2 years, you see all these shit coins take off and you start like, God damn it, you know, I know I'm right, but what if like 80% of the world is just sheep and they don't care and they just keep buying Ethereum and all these shit coins, and look at like left and right, you're seeing like you're seeing like double-digit growth in shitcoin. So you start wondering like, oh, maybe I should cut off like 5% and speculate a little bit and gamble in there because these people are so stupid. So hodling is not easy, right? And when the price goes up, oh, maybe we should sell some because there's going to be another dip again. Or when the price is going down, oh, you might get scared and you want to sell off. But to me, it's more like this revolution, right? And it's going to take a long time. It's
but then it goes.
it's the most peaceful revolution, you know.
It is peaceful.
You're literally the and Mike. Anyway, he always says it's like the easiest revolution you're ever gonna fight for a better world. You know, like you can just opt out of the fiat system by allocating to Bitcoin, hold it peacefully in self-custody, you know, and you're literally going to change the world to a fairer, trustless system where people can manipulate others.
Yeah.
But it takes discipline. You know, you see that that promise of such a world is being attacked by greed and scammers, basically. So it's hard.
It just what I was saying, like, what's Bitcoin solving for? And I think that's what you have to keep in the back of your mind or in the front of your mind, especially in the bull market. It's not solving for me to get rich. That's going to happen, but that's not Bitcoin's purpose. Is not me to. It's not like, it's not about me.
No, Bitcoin wasn't created to make us rich.
No.
Bitcoin was created to set us free.
Yes. And
as I told you before, I'm saving my labor, I'm saving my time. I can spend it whenever I want without anyone tell me that I'm not able to do it. So if I want to send you money now, I'm gonna send you. No one will stop me.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so important about this revolution, because if we are looking at what's going on in the world, if we didn't have Bitcoin, we would almost be forced to have a violent revolution. But because we have Bitcoin, then we can peacefully opt out of the current system that we live in. And the shit coins that come around, all these altcoins, they don't do anything to help with the revolution. They actually hurt what's going on. And I think like that's the thing, is like, what are we focusing on? What is the fight for? And this bear market has really reminded me like what Bitcoin's purpose is. And I think that's good. It's not only put a reset on the system, but it's put a reset in my mind on what's important. You know, it's not about me at all. It's not about me getting rich. It's not about me trying to make a bunch of money. It's not about me trying to outperform Bitcoin. It's about me setting my wealth aside in a place that only I control it. No trusted third party controls it. No one can stop it. And my governments don't tell me what to do, but I actually have power over anyone because I can control my wealth and I'm not controlled. And I think that really does give true freedom to the individual. And there's no altcoin.
It's the only property that we truly own.
Yeah.
So on the toxicity part, right? Did we fail? Do we need to do something different?
Yeah, do we have
when some other lending platform stands up or some custodial platform, you know, and I also saw somebody asking, like this other influencer, you know, like, what should I do with my Roth IRA? Should I buy GBTC, or, you know, should I put it in whatever? You know, he's like, I can't allocate that straight to Bitcoin. So yeah, these things, you know, you're always going to have people saying these things have a place in this world, you know. Do they have a place in this world or don't they? Take an Unchained Capital, for instance, you know, Bitcoin only company, they provide multi-sigs and whatnot. Should that be there? Or is that a solution to some people, or should we just say, nah, Bitcoin, pure self-custody or bust?
I think multi-sig has a place in Bitcoin. Yeah, like, should we be more toxic? I don't know. Does toxicity work is the question, I guess, that you're asking.
Yeah, multi-sig has place in Bitcoin, but it's not that important to me. Self-custody, keep it simple and keep it safe.
Yeah. Maybe if you're like a you know, a multi-million-dollar $1 billion company, yeah, then multi-sig becomes very important, you know.
Yeah, and then it's necessary. But if you are a pleb, don't overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I have this other topic, right? If we could jump back in or whatever, but I just want to throw it out there before I forget, because I also it got a little bit snowed under, but I was wondering, what do you think of this, Greek, of this news? Because I heard that, you know, we've all seen the hash rate going up to, like, still going up all-time high. So I know miners are in like big trouble right now. You know, there's a lot of competition, but there was this news this week that in Bitcoin conference 2023, that Shell is going to be a speaker there and is going to be announcing something. Well, I was just wondering, how do you look at that? Have you heard the news? Or
I saw something about Shell, but I didn't read the. Are they going to mine Bitcoin or?
Well, they didn't say. It was the news was more, so it's very much like a little bit speculating. What's the news? So you know, we already know that some other big oil company is actively mining Bitcoin. I believe the name is slipping my mind right now. Sorry, but I remember Googling it a couple of weeks ago, like, to see what Shell is doing.
Exxon
I
Mobil.
think it's ExxonMobil. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Shell is going to get into it as well, if they're going to announce that.
Probably they will. They can't afford not to mine Bitcoin, if you think about it.
Yeah, they're probably sitting on the most free energy to them, or low cost energy in that case.
Of course.
Yeah.
They can't afford not to.
Especially when the price is like $16,000 per Bitcoin.
Yeah. Bitcoin is the future, guys.
Why? Why is Bitcoin the future?
Because it's the fucking future.
No, don't give me that. Don't give me that. Why?
Look, no matter the price, forget about the price.
Yeah.
Everyone in the world is going to need Bitcoin at some point, sooner or later. They will turn into Bitcoin because they will not have any other option to survive the dystopian future that is coming to us. I just wear my tinfoil and I'm going to talk about some.
Yeah, just keep ranting your thoughts, dude.
You know,
CBDCs are future. What are you referring
to? Yes, CBDCs are coming.
Yeah.
We are going to be under surveillance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They want to track every transaction we make, and at some point people will wake up and they will refuse to transact under these circumstances. So they either do a peaceful revolution and turn to Bitcoin, or they are going to get the guns and shoot everyone in the street. And the more likely scenario is that they are going to turn into Bitcoin. Everyone wants to be free. So no matter the price, no matter what the price is, Bitcoin is working. You know, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin, no matter the price.
I'll just say, being here at the Pacific Bitcoin Conference right now, here in Santa Monica, in LA, you can just, I mean, I've been to Miami 21, 22, now I'm here at Pacific Bitcoin. You can just feel the energy in Bitcoin. Like, imagine people in 2018 being this excited about Bitcoin. You know, it was like different at that time. And maybe for other people, they were really happy, but you know, I feel like more people are really understanding what Bitcoin is, even at the bottom of the bear market. And we're still excited for what Bitcoin brings to us. And it's an idea, and I can't stop thinking about this right now. Bitcoin is an idea that will not stop. There's too many people that have gone down the rabbit hole that think about Bitcoin constantly. And the idea of Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin itself, but the idea of Bitcoin will never stop. That idea it's too far unleashed. It's a global idea now. There's too many people that are down the rabbit hole that it can't stop. And so whatever FUD or attacks are at Bitcoin, the network, or Bitcoin, the monetary asset, or whatever you want to call it, those may have some effect, but the idea of Bitcoin can't fail. It's just too far out there.
Yes, Bitcoin is freedom. Everyone likes freedom.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of nice, right? Because what's actually happening now is that these big investors who are holding, I don't know how many thousands or tens of thousands of Bitcoins, had to liquidate all their positions, you know, and plebs are just gobbling up all these cheap Bitcoin right now. So it's a nice way of, how do I say, to diffuse or to chop up those big holders and spread it amongst more newborn Bitcoin maximalists, right? And like you say, Sean, I feel that the group of people that truly understand the purpose of Bitcoin. So in a sense, this whole shit show that's happening right now, right, is causing people to rethink, oh, you know, like there are literally people right now thinking or saying that, haha, look, all the Bitcoiners are wrecked now. I told you Bitcoin and crypto was like this Ponzi and stuff. Or people saying, oh, all the Bitcoiners had all their trust in FTX and in BlockFi, and now they're getting wrecked. But if you look deeper, you have all these Bitcoin maximalists saying there that, no way, man, like we're not affected. We always told you to self-storage your keys, and if you just hold Bitcoin, you're safe. And that is a big lesson. And I think that group of Bitcoin maximalists, even though I still don't like that term as much, because
Vitalik made
people use it as a derogatory term, you know. But in the end, I think Bitcoin maximalists will just be known for truth. But whatever, you know, I think that group of plebs, the Bitcoin maximalists, are growing and growing and growing every cycle. And
Bitcoin maximalists
their belief,
is the power.
Their belief in the idea is not wavering; it's only getting stronger. And it's the plebs that really set the floor ultimately. You know, we'll always keep buying, you know, and as long as we're growing, and the group of plebs and people that understand Bitcoin maximalism, for lack of a better word.
Because in every incident like this, a new wave of Bitcoin maximalists is being created.
Yeah.
And we're getting more and more people with us. And we are the power of Bitcoin. Too many people, too many plebs underestimate the power of long-term holders like us. We set the floor. We focus on one thing. We want this thing to succeed. We want this revolution to succeed. We keep buying. We keep educating people. We keep being toxic. And no matter what other people say, this is really good, and this need to be continued. We should stick to this, and we should help everyone, help each other, even if it's a newcomer or not. We need to stick together, and we need to give the fight, because we are fighting the same enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, people need to learn that we're really going, like the Bitcoin standard or the Bitcoin paradigm that we're entering into is fundamentally different from the fiat standard that we're leaving, you know, and that's very hard for people to remember, because we've grown up and we've been taught all these wisdoms based on this fiat standard, you know, like, don't, and I'm going to mention gold here, but, you know, like I hear this so often. It's like, during the gold rush, it was better not to go look for gold, but you were supposed to invest in like the companies that made the shovels, or, you know, people are always looking, let's invest in mining stocks instead of in Bitcoin. Let's invest in shitcoins. And we're so conditioned to think in what worked in the past, while the Bitcoin standard that we're going into is so fundamentally different. Things like interest on your Bitcoin, you know, like, and the way we think banks work, and we think like, oh, you know, like a BlockFi will probably work just like how the old banks did, and they're going to lend out Bitcoin, and all this discussion is like, I would be really, really careful. Just hold that Bitcoin. That's going to be the most valuable thing, apart from your time, as you said, Greek, you know. And,
can you imagine? Can you imagine how stupid it sounds? Interest on your Bitcoin. I mean, Think
Who's going
about
to
it.
print the interest, right? Yeah,
Think about it.
exactly.
But it,
You know,
but it does,
interest on
but
your
there's someone
fiat
new.
works perfectly because they keep printing more money
Yeah,
to pay that interest, right? So if I take a
Yes.
loan of $100, I have to pay back $150, right? Because I have to pay all this interest over it over time. So, but you only gave me $100. So where's that extra $50 come from? And in a world of debt, they need to keep printing
to print it.
more money to be able for people to have the interest to pay it back. Otherwise, everybody would not be able to pay back their loan. In Bitcoin, you really cannot print more money. So interest is fundamentally different. You can still do it, but it means you're competing with somebody else for finance. So in a Bitcoin standard, you can try to do it. It might work in some cases, but you're going to get a lot of defaults on your debt, right? It's so the interest, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It's a completely different world.
That's pretty mind blowing, right? Like in the fiat world, you can have all this interest, and we're used to interest because you can just print more. But with Bitcoin, you can't print more Bitcoin. So it's like, where does the interest come from? Where does the yield come from on Bitcoin?
The yield is you.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Because they can't print more. So eventually it just breaks because there's no yield to gain in Bitcoin.
But this concept is very hard for people to see, and they keep, so when a new company says, oh, you can put your Bitcoin here, you're going to get interest because we're going to lend it out to somebody, they're going to put that money to work. Yeah, it makes sense from the world that we came from, but the world that we're headed to is fundamentally different. So honestly, I think it's funny because I'm hearing a lot of people saying like, this year is going to be like the death of third-party risk and custodians and the death of DeFi and the death of shitcoin. But we were saying this in 2018 as well. I was one of the people that was saying, you know, like no more ICOs after this year. Look at them all going to
This
zero,
is never going to
shit.
happen. This is never going to happen.
I think we need a lot more time before the rest of the world figures this out.
Yeah, because it's not like everyone is watching this, right? If I go talk to a regular person on the street about, you know, do you know what FTX is? They wouldn't even know, right? They wouldn't even know that FTX just blew up, that all these exchanges have blown up. So that's what's important for us, like to channel this and to remember. And when something new pops up, be like, yeah, remember Celsius, remember FTX, remember BlockFi, remember these things. Because at those, like a couple of years ago, people were saying, oh, we're not in the Mt. Gox era anymore. We're in a new era. It's like, dude, it's not about the era. It's about not putting yield on Bitcoin because you can't print more Bitcoin, but you can print more dollars and you can print more FTT, you know, you can print more stable coins, but you can't print more Bitcoin. And that's the difference.
I haven't run the numbers, but I have a feeling that like the capital destruction in this cycle has been way bigger than the Mt. Gox blow up. I know it was more Bitcoin, but if you look at the value of the Bitcoin then and the value that's being lost now, and the amount of people that had their funds in FTX and are now like wondering if they're ever going to get it back, you know, 1 to 1 or 10 cents to the dollar or whatever, or just 0 to the dollar. It's pretty mind blowing. We're talking about what was the whole $8 billion?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of sad stories out there. You know? Imagine you had like even like 25% or 0.5% or half of your stack or all of your money sitting on an exchange.
No,
you've been hodling for
I
like
don't want to think about
years,
it.
and now it's gone. My God, you know, like I can't help but feel sorry for these people. That's why it's such a tough situation. But damn,
they are depositing their Bitcoin to a platform so they can earn some interest, and the platform was taking their Bitcoin and was buying Shiba Inu or whatever, just to make profits, and eventually they killed the market. And then they killed their customers. They freeze everything, and they fucked up everything.
Yeah, we have to be like, you got to be smarter. If you do that, you got to know the risk that you're taking, and you have to hold yourself accountable. If you make mistakes, you make mistakes, and then you just have to look at yourself in the mirror, and be like, okay, what am I gonna do? What is the whole purpose of Bitcoin? It's not about me getting rich. I think that's one of the biggest things. It's about freedom, not about getting rich. And
it will happen eventually, but it's not the main purpose.
Yeah, it's a tool of freedom. It's
Yeah,
not about
yeah.
But if you
and
tell
all these
people,
valuations as well, like it's FTX started using their FTT token as collateral, so this coin went up from like $2 all the way up to, what was it, like $23 or $40? I don't even know what the high was.
This is fucking hilarious. Can you imagine? they printed the token out of thin air, and then they used it as a collateral.
Right.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying, and that's why why they can offer yield. They can offer yield, but you can't offer yield of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, you can't print any of it, and that's the difference. That's fundamentally one of the biggest changes from the fiat world to the Bitcoin world. Is it's not inflationary, it's disinflationary and then deflationary. It's a total mind shift that you have to make.
Yeah, for some reason I have to think. I'm comparing
some crazy
things. Sorry,
things.
go ahead.
Yeah, they were doing some crazy things, like what I said before. They were printing tokens out of thin air.
Yeah,
you were reading it, and at the same time, you were hearing, hey.
But isn't that
and yet people fell for it.
But isn't what FTX did with FTT basically the same thing that the Federal Reserve does with the dollar?
Yes.
Yeah, and the Treasury.
It's the same thing.
So
you have
there's no difference.
I like to explain it to like people who may not like. So what FTX did, right? They printed a shit ton of FTX tokens, literally just their own tokens, just worthless, right? I mean, you just print them out of thin air. They gave them to their other sister company, Alameda Research, right?
Yeah.
Just gave a shit ton to them there. Then next, what they do is, as FTX, they're literally making a ton of money, whether the price goes up or down. It's just people trading, So they're connecting, people are sending their Bitcoin or their money to FTX because they want to change it for other people's Bitcoin, shitcoin, or their other fiat, right? And they take out a little fee, whether the price goes up or down. Exchanges make, it's actually a beautiful business model, right? Like, you're price agnostic. As long as people are trading, you're making money. It's riskless, as long as you don't do any stupid stuff with that money. But what they were doing with the profits is they started buying back the FTT token from Alameda Research. Remember, they printed these tokens out of thin air, gave them to another company, Alameda Research, and now started buying back that token,
artificially inflate
and artificially
the price.
propping up this token. And as this token goes up in price, all kind of other people think, hey, I want to buy this too. The valuation of this token goes sky high all of a sudden, artificially, like you said, Greek. And now it seems like, oh, Sam Bankman-Fried holds so much FTT, he's worth $16 billion, which he just artificially propped up. And people think, hey, this guy is good for this money, so we're going to start accepting FTT as collateral. So he starts funding all kind of politicians with tens of millions of dollars and he becomes like this well-known lobbyist in Washington, D.C. He starts paying massive commercials. So he's spending like real world money now. And basically, as this bubble bursts,
His
And
customers.
you
money.
can blame CZ or not, but you know, CZ was an investor in FTX, and he accepted I don't know how many thousands of FTT tokens in that deal. So I wonder though if CZ knew what he was doing, because obviously CZ is a pretty smart guy.
He was he put himself in a position to take down FTX if necessary.
And
right?
now to make the comparison back to the United States, right? We have the Fed and the Treasury. So the Fed prints a bunch of tokens out of thin air, and the Treasury buys those tokens and sends government bonds in return.
Yeah.
IOUs in return. And by the way, China was a big buyer of those tokens as well. CZ, I don't know, he's Chinese. The parallels are uncanny, right? What if China starts dumping all these bonds right now?
They have been. China's been dumping US bonds since about 2012 or 2013.
Well, they stopped buying, Sean. I know Russia dumped all their bonds, but China is still the biggest holder. They're still holding a shit ton of shit coins.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we gotta let Greek Hodl go because we're past.
We're running over time. Yeah, good call. We have to run through some quick questions though, Greek. We ask everybody.
Yeah, let's go. I still have some time if you want.
You have some time.
I have some time. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we have 3 questions, and I know there's a couple of questions that we weren't sure. You know, we want to make sure your OPSEC is okay. So if you don't feel like answering it for OPSEC purposes, just let us know. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So there's 3 questions. Here's the first one. What did you read or listen to that made you finally swallow the orange pill? For any of the anyone that's out there that's like, I want more information. Well, you know,
okay.
Make that mind-blowing thing.
Okay, for the noobs, huh? Some Bitcoiners will hate me, but an easy to read book is The Internet of Money from Andreas.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Antonopoulos. Yeah.
Yes, but not. It wasn't that book that made me swallow the orange pill, but I'm just thinking to answer the question about the newcomers, what is going to help them. And I believe that this book is really easy to read, and it might have some shitcoining inside, but it's really helpful to make you understand and start making the baby steps to the rabbit hole. Bitcoin standard, of course.
Yeah.
After that, it's
Safe Dynamos.
But the most important is common sense. To understand. Yes, that what it made me swallow the pill. It's common sense. It's you have to realize what is happening to the world, and you have to find the solution. And when you do this, you see that the Bitcoin is a solution, and it's the only solution. And then everything is, coming easy.
Sean, you know what I'm thinking of now? Like we covered that in past shows. Do you have a background in like engineering, math, or economics?
Here we go. Here we go. Mark is asking the question. Go ahead. Ask the question.
It seems like those people just get it first.
I do have experience in engineering and finance.
Boom.
Oh my
God.
God. In finance,
like,
in finance too. He said finance.
Yes.
I'm definitely onto something.
Yes.
Marcus just likes pointing out that I'm the dumb basketball player. That's what he likes.
No, not at all, man.
He's like, oh,
and you have a background in engineering, remember?
Yes.
Or physics or whatever.
I don't know. I don't have a background in any of that.
You told that last podcast that you studied it or something.
No, I took
or algebra. What was it?
No, I took college level calculus in 11th grade when I was
Calculus.
16, passed it, and then took college level statistics when I was 17 in
Have you found this pattern as well, Greek?
What exactly?
Well,
people
I
who
just noticed,
are
yeah,
engineers,
it's literally
yes,
like
understand
people who
Bitcoin.
are like engineers or into physics, you know, like there seems to be like
Yes, they
overrepresentation of Bitcoiners that have like physics or math
yes,
background or
that
and to
is
me
true.
that's that common knowledge, right? Like you can't
From my
beat physics. Yeah.
from my experience and what I see through these years is that all these people are more easy to understand Bitcoin.
I also think if you've lived in more than one country, I think you also can see Bitcoin pretty easily too. Like living in different countries, there's something about moving around, using different currencies that opens your eyes. You know, maybe speaking another language too. If you speak multiple languages, I think that also does open your eyes to Bitcoin. And
Yes.
And I'm not saying that you have to speak multiple languages, or you got to move in different countries, or you got to be an engineer. There's plenty of people who don't do any of that stuff. And like, it's not like, oh, Bitcoin is a secret from you. Like you can still learn it.
I barely speak Greek, not to mention that my English sucks, but I can code better than speaking.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Awesome.
Super shadowy coder confirmed. Okay, next question. How do you see hyper Bitcoinization playing out?
If at all.
If at all, yes. I think that eventually it's going to happen, but I think it's going to take time. I can say that there are two, I don't know how to say it. Give me a second to Google Translate it. I'm sorry, guys.
There you go.
I need to find the word.
Patapatapaplis.
Is Google translating it
Okay.
from code to English?
It's foresight, forecast. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to use it, but
yeah, forecast.
To predict, to forecast?
To predict, yes.
Okay.
So
That's
it
nice.
either comes in 100 years from now, but it will come, and it is going to come, step by step, slowly, or it's going to happen suddenly and violently,
Right.
in the near future. But
Okay.
certainly it will happen because, as I told you before, everyone in the world is going to need Bitcoin for their survival, mentally and literally. And it is going to happen sooner or later.
Okay,
I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, right? You have to choose.
Okay.
Is it going to happen slowly and then suddenly, or is it happening gradually, and why?
Yeah, because
which one has the most
there's only two ways it can happen.
chance? You know, what's the highest probability in your mind, and why?
I think that it is going to come in the near future and violently.
And why?
Because the governments have fucked up the world, and people will not tolerate this for too long. People will fuck them up. They will turn into Bitcoin suddenly and with violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
I do. I'm on the same page, but I think it's more of a bank run situation. You know, it's just like at FTX. The minute somebody, a big player, says, "Oh my God, this thing, I don't trust it anymore."
Yes,
you know, the minute like some big G7 country says, "Oh my God, I don't trust the current fiat system anymore. We're going to go on a Bitcoin standard." That could be like the pin that just causes this massive,
probably this will come with the fall of the euro currency.
Yeah.
Oh, possibly,
That
definitely
I
possible.
predict that it is going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years.
Do you think that if or when the euro fails, that some of
Not
the
if, when
yeah,
it
that
will
when
fail. Yeah.
For sure.
So I was talking to the lovely Camilla Campton and her husband Thevin. They're awesome.
Mhm.
And she was saying that she thinks a lot of countries will get dollarized first and then go to a Bitcoin standard, like we saw with El Salvador. Like Ecuador is dollarized. And I wonder if in Europe, if we'll see when the euro fails, some countries will go back to their old currencies. And if a few of them will go to the dollar. That would be an interesting.
A few years back, they were discussing that Greece could go to a dollarized standard. Yes, it was not a popular
idea.
yes, but they were talking about. So it will not surprise me if a country in the euro area
was dollarized.
Yes. It's really easy, and especially for a country like Greece, which the economy is really small. It's really easy to happen. Then the Bitcoin standard is the next step, and it's the only sure thing that is going to happen. But when the euro fails, Bitcoin will take over.
Yeah.
Part of it will be that in the fiat standard, we're going to have to keep printing money, as we discussed earlier, just to be able to have people be able to pay their interest. So as they keep printing and printing money, and Bitcoin remains finite, the Bitcoin price will just keep going up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
And that also will drive people into Bitcoin. And I don't know. I just can't see it working out any other way. Final question, Sean. Let's go.
What do you see as the biggest threat to Bitcoin?
The biggest threat to Bitcoin.
Yeah. The biggest danger, the biggest threat.
I think yellow is the biggest threat.
What? Wait, the what?
Yellow.
What do you mean for the noobs?
Malacca yellow. Malaki.
Yes.
I guess I could.
But Bitcoin will always work. No matter the fighting and everything, Bitcoin is always gonna work. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Maybe a meteorite would kill Bitcoin.
Meteor.
I have one more question. Are you yellow?
Tell me again. What did you ask?
My final question is, are you yellow?
I'm not gonna answer this straight.
Oh, what?
But I will answer with a question. Have you ever seen yellow and I in the same room?
That's a good point. That is a very good point.
All I can say is we need more Greek Bitcoiners in the space, man. Hey, dude.
Yes.
I know Sean is going to wrap it up, but thanks again. Really,
thank you guys.
Happy
thank you
I
guys
get to
for
hang out
inviting me.
with guys like you on Twitter and on this space like this. So appreciate you a lot, man.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. I hope you have a good time with me. Yeah. Sorry for my mistakes and while I'm trying to speak English.
Oh, don't worry.
I did my best.
You spoke fine. Give people a handoff where they can find you if you're building anything. Just to your Twitter, is that it? Or
yeah. They can find me on Twitter, but I'm not the account that plebs will need to follow.
Yeah.
Because I tweet I'm not tweeting too often, and I'm not so funny.
You're a good account to follow, though, dude. You're a good account to follow.
Yeah, but everyone is welcome to follow me and have fun with me.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks again. We really had a great
time. Thanks again.
We were really excited for you to come on, and and glad we made it work.
My pleasure.
With the
My
time,
pleasure.
the time differences. Just for everyone else who's listening in, remember we got the Meme Factory podcast coming up this Thursday, 7:30 p.m. live. That's with everyone from the Meme Factory.
7:30 p.m. Eastern European time. What?
7:30 p.m. Eastern European time. I got no clue on that time. Oh, it's actually like I think 1:30 p.m. or 1:30 a.m. in the morning if you're in Greece. I don't know. That's what Yellow says, I think. Or maybe he's 2:30 actually.
Yeah, I think so. It's yeah. I think it's 2:30.
1:30 in Paris, 2:30 in Greece, 12:30 in Portugal. Okay. And remember, what you see here, what you hear here, when you leave here, don't just let it stay here. Please like, subscribe, share. If you had a good time, listen in. Let us know. Give us some feedback if you loved it, if you hated it. Let us know. As for Bitcoiner's Guide, episode 38 from Mr. Greek Hodl himself, Plan, Marcus, and Big Sean. We're over now. Peace.